and that these statues are 2 or 3 times as large as we can see, because most of them is below ground.
The secrets of Easter Island were never buried. They were written in plain sight on just 26 wooden tablets. For the first time, we can read them. Thanks to a top-secret quantum AI project, the indecipherable Rongorongo script has been decoded, and it tells a story that history books will have to be rewritten for. We're talking about a detailed account of beings from the sky, advanced knowledge that led to a terrible downfall, and a final cryptic warning that seems to be meant for us. The message is finally clear, and it's absolutely shocking.
Because these will disappear one day. So if the art of making them is still alive, we will never lose the statues.
The digital Rosetta Stone. For more than 150 years, the Rongorongo script has been a ghost haunting the halls of archaeology. Discovered on the most remote inhabited island on Earth, this complex system of over 15,000 glyphs carved into just a handful of wooden tablets has resisted every attempt at translation. It's a true linguistic enigma, a code with no key. At least, that was the case until now. In a quiet, climate-controlled server room far from the windswept shores of Rapa Nui, a new kind of mind has been put to the task. Not a human mind, but a quantum AI, a machine capable of processing possibilities on a scale that is almost unimaginable. This wasn't just another computer program. This AI was designed to think outside the box, to see patterns that the human brain, with all its biases and limitations, simply couldn't. It didn't just analyze the symbols. It analyzed the space between the symbols. It cross-referenced thousands of ancient languages, myths, and even astronomical charts from civilizations that had no contact with each other. It's funny when you think about it. We needed to create an entirely new form of intelligence just to understand an old one. The AI sifted through a mountain of data that would take a human team centuries to get through, looking for a single, elusive connection. And then it found one. The breakthrough came from a place no one expected. The AI identified a faint, almost imperceptible link between the Rongorongo glyphs and ancient astronomical maps of the Pleiades star cluster, maps that were supposedly thousands of years older than the Rapa Nui civilization. It was a long shot, a connection that seemed impossible. But when the AI began to apply this celestial framework to the script, the glyphs started to make sense. It was like watching a ghost slowly materialize. The symbols for birds, fish, and strange, elongated figures weren't just pictures. They were phonetic markers combined with cosmic concepts. The Rapa Nui weren't just writing about their island, they were writing about their place in the universe. The first complete sentence to emerge from the quantum AI's translation was chillingly clear. The sky beings descended, bringing wisdom from the waters of life. The research team was stunned. This wasn't a record of farming or a list of kings. It was a first contact narrative. According to the AI's translation, the tablets describe a group of beings who arrived from the sky. They didn't come in fire and fury, but as teachers. The glyphs go on to describe how these beings shared incredible knowledge with the Rapa Nui, secrets of agriculture, architecture, and the cosmos itself. The giant Moai statues, those famous stone sentinels weighing up to 82 tons, weren't just idols. The script claims they were built with guidance from these visitors, acting as celestial antennas or markers. The sheer scale of that is mind-boggling. Some of those statues were moved over 11 miles without the use of wheels or large animals. The script was finally giving us an answer, but it was an answer that opened up 1,000 more questions. The most shocking part, however, wasn't the arrival of these beings, but the nature of the wisdom they brought. The AI's translation becomes more fragmented here, more poetic and ominous. It speaks of a power that could shape the very stone and whisper to the waves. It describes a gift that allowed the Rapa Nui to flourish, to build a complex society on a tiny speck of land, measuring just 63 square miles in the middle of the vast Pacific Ocean. But as the translation continues, the tone shifts from wonder to fear. A shadow falls over the narrative. The gift, it seems, came with a terrible price. The ancient script was revealing a secret history of Easter Island, one that involved not just human ingenuity, but an otherworldly intervention. But what was the price they paid? A warning carved in wood. The initial translation was a bombshell, but what came next was the explosion. As the quantum AI continued to piece together the narrative from the Rongorongo tablets, a darker story emerged. The wisdom from the waters of life wasn't just about building statues or growing crops. The translation suggests the sky beings gave the Rapa Nui a form of advanced knowledge, something that could be used to manipulate the natural world. Think about it, a society with no metal tools, no draft animals, somehow managing to quarry, carve, and transport thousands of giant stone figures. The script implies this wasn't just manpower, it was something else, a power that bordered on the supernatural. The tablets describe a golden age on the island. For a time, Rapa Nui was a paradise. The population grew, and the people lived in harmony with their celestial teachers. The Moai statues, according to the script, were erected in a flurry of creation, each one a tribute to the star visitors. But the translation then introduces a new glyph, one that the AI struggled with. It translated it as the Great Forgetting, or the Empty Knowledge. It seems the Rapa Nui began to use the gifted powers for their own glory, not for the reasons they were intended. The clans on the island started competing with each other, each one trying to build bigger and more impressive Moai. It became a contest of vanity, a departure from the original purpose. This is where the story aligns eerily with what archaeologists already know. The island society did collapse. Its lush palm forest vanished, its ecosystem was destroyed, and its people descended into conflict. For years, scientists have called this a case of ecocide, a cautionary tale of a society that consumed its own resources to extinction. But the Rongorongo script offers a different, more terrifying explanation. It claims the downfall wasn't just because they cut down all the trees. The translation speaks of a misuse of the visitor's power. The empty knowledge led to a catastrophe. The script describes the earth shaking, the waves rising, and the sky crying tears of ash. It sounds less like simple deforestation and more like some kind of technological or environmental cataclysm. Could it be that the Rapa Nui were given a tool they weren't ready for? It's a classic story, almost like a myth from our own cultures. A gift from the gods becomes a curse in the hands of mortals. The AI's translation suggests the ecological collapse was just a symptom of a much bigger problem. The society rotted from the inside out, corrupted by a power they could no longer control. The final desperate entries on the tablets are not about celebrating the sky beings, but about fearing them. One translated passage reads, "They watch from above as we undo ourselves. The silent stones are all that remain of their great promise." The paradise had become a prison, and the Rapa Nui were trapped in the consequences of their own actions, driven by a knowledge they should never have had. The script is a confession, a final testament of a people who flew too close to the sun and got burned. But if this incredible story is true, if an ancient civilization really made contact with beings from another world, then that raises a huge question. Why haven't we heard about this before? The discovery they don't want you to know. A discovery of this magnitude, proof of ancient alien contact and a lost technology, should be front-page news across the globe. It would rewrite every history book on the planet. Yet, all we have are whispers and fragmented leaks. The reason for this, as you might have guessed, is that a story this big is also this dangerous. The implications are so massive that powerful people would want to keep it under wraps. It's not just about history, it's about power, control, and the very foundation of our modern world. When you really stop and think about it, the silence is almost more shocking than the discovery itself. The small, independent research group that developed this quantum AI wasn't affiliated with any major government or university. They were private, funded by anonymous backers. When they made their breakthrough, they didn't rush to the press. They knew what they had was explosive. According to insiders, the first people they contacted were not archaeologists, but figures within military intelligence and shadowy government agencies. The response was immediate and decisive. Absolute silence. The project's data was classified. The researchers were placed under non-disclosure agreements so strict they couldn't even talk about it to their families. And the official story became that the AI project had hit a dead end. Why the cover-up? The reasons are as complex as they are frightening. First, there's the technological aspect. If the Rapa Nui were given a power source or a tool that could move 80-ton statues and potentially alter the environment, Every government on Earth would want to weaponize it. The revelation of such technology would trigger a global arms race that would make the Cold War look like a schoolyard argument. It's a power that humanity, even now, is probably not ready for. The story of Easter Island itself is a perfect example of what could happen. The script is a literal warning against this very outcome. Then there's the social and cultural impact. The narrative presented by the Rongorongo tablets directly challenges the foundations of every major religion and national identity in the world. The idea that human civilization was helped or guided by non-human intelligence would be a massive blow to our collective ego. It redefines what it means to be human. For centuries, we have believed we are the sole masters of this planet. This discovery suggests we may have been just a student, and a poor one at that. Institutions built on centuries of established doctrine would crumble overnight. The potential for social chaos would be immense. Finally, there's the most terrifying reason of all, the warning. The final passages of the Rongorongo script are not just a history, they are a prophecy. The AI's translation of the last few glyphs is cryptic, but it seems to point to a cycle. It speaks of the sky beings returning when the children of the earth once again reach for the empty knowledge. Are we on the verge of repeating the same mistakes as the Rapa Nui? Our own technological progress, especially in fields like artificial intelligence, could be seen as us reaching for the empty knowledge. Perhaps the secret keepers aren't just trying to hide the past. Maybe they're trying to prevent a future that was foretold in stone and wood thousands of years ago. The script isn't just about Easter Island. It's a message for the whole world. And some people are making sure we never get to read it. But what does this mean for the rest of us, living our daily lives? A message for the modern world. So what are we supposed to do with this information? For most of us, this story seems like something out of a science fiction movie. It's about a tiny island thousands of miles away and a civilization that vanished centuries ago. It's easy to hear all this and think it has nothing to do with our lives, but that's where we'd be wrong. The thing is, when you peel back all the layers of mystery and conspiracy, the message from the Rongorongo script isn't really about aliens or ancient technology. It's about us right here, right now. Think about our world today. We are obsessed with progress. We push the boundaries of science and technology every single day. We've created artificial intelligence, we're editing genes, and we're reaching for the stars, literally. We are chasing our own version of the wisdom from the waters of life. And just like the Rapa Nui, we rarely stop to ask if we should. We're so focused on whether we can do something that we forget to ask about the consequences. Does any of this sound familiar? The story of the Rapa Nui isn't a historical document, it's a mirror. What happens when a society gets a powerful new tool? It's a question we're grappling with right now. Look at the internet, social media, artificial intelligence. These things were created with the best of intentions, to connect us, to make our lives easier, to solve problems. And they have in many ways. But they have also created division, anxiety, and a whole new set of problems we never anticipated. We are, in a sense, misusing the gifts of our own creation, just like the Rapa Nui supposedly misused theirs. We build our own moai, digital empires, technological status symbols, without fully understanding the price. Are we, too, building our paradise on a foundation that could crumble? The final chapter is about us wondering if all of this could happen overnight. Is this story true? Are we missing a key detail? The most profound part of this whole revelation is the irony. It took a quantum AI, the pinnacle of our own gifted knowledge, to translate a warning about the dangers of gifted knowledge. We are literally playing out the same cycle the script warns us about. We are seeking answers from a machine that might represent the very empty knowledge that led to the downfall of the Rapa Nui. It's a paradox that should make us all pause and think. This isn't about being afraid of technology or progress. It's about being mindful. It's about having the wisdom to accompany our intelligence. The Rapa Nui left us a message, carved into wood, that survived for centuries, floating through time like a message in a bottle. It tells us that the greatest challenge for any intelligent species is not conquering the world around them, but conquering the flaws within themselves, the vanity, the greed, the short-sightedness. It's a lesson they learn the hard way. The question the script leaves us with is simple. Will we? Decoding the Cosmic Blueprint. Just when everyone thought the story couldn't get any wilder, the quantum AI found something else. It was a second layer, a secret code hidden beneath the surface of the story. It turns out the Rongorongo script wasn't just a history of celestial visitors and a fallen civilization. The tablets were also a cosmic blueprint, a map to the stars. And here's the crazy part. This ancient code seems to hold a universal language, one that connects that tiny island to the vastness of space and sounds an awful lot like what we are trying to do today. The whole thing blew open when the AI did something no human researcher ever could. It perfectly mapped the strange symbols to the Pleiades star cluster. You see, those carvings of birds, fish, and weird stick figures weren't random doodles. The AI saw repeating patterns that perfectly matched the positions of the stars in the Pleiades, a constellation that, believe it or not, ancient cultures all over the world were obsessed with. Specific symbols like the famous Birdman weren't just about a local ritual, they were star coordinates. Their placement on the tablets changed to match how the stars looked from Easter Island during different seasons. What this means is that the script was two things at once: a story and a highly advanced star chart meant to preserve the knowledge of where the sky beings came from. When the AI translated this star map layer, it read like a set of instructions. One part, for example, said, "The 7 lights guide the path. Follow the bird to the edge of the waters." The 7 lights is almost certainly talking about the 7 brightest stars of the Pleiades you can see with your own eyes. The bird was likely their guidepost. It's funny when you think about it. Archaeologists have known about the Rapa Nui's Birdman cult for decades, where brave men would compete to find the first seabird egg of the season. Now it seems that whole ritual might have been an echo of these cosmic instructions. The tablets weren't just a guide to navigate the ocean, they were a guide to navigate the cosmos, a final gift from the visitors who taught them how to read the stars. And this is where it gets really mind-blowing. The AI found complex mathematical patterns hidden in the glyphs, the same kind of repeating, fractal-like patterns that our scientists are now finding in everything from our own DNA to the shape of entire galaxies. It's almost like they stumbled upon a universal code for life itself. Right now, our top scientists are using AI and giant radio telescopes for projects like SETI, listening to space for any sign of intelligent life. It seems the Rapa Nui were doing the exact same thing hundreds of years ago, but they were using carved wood and the stars themselves. But just like the rest of the script, this celestial map comes with a final chilling warning. The last few glyphs decoded by the AI talk about a cycle of reaching, climbs higher and higher, but risks a great fall when they go too far. The Rapa Nui's own downfall was a small-scale version of this cycle. Today, with our own quantum computers, AI, and dreams of colonizing space, we are climbing our own ladder of light. The script is asking us a direct question. Are we ready for what's at the top? Or will the stars just watch us in silence too? The thing is, this celestial code forces us to see the Rapa Nui in a whole new light. They weren't a failed primitive culture. They were the guardians of a cosmic secret. Their tablets, carved on the most remote island on Earth, might just hold the key to our own future. And the fact that this discovery is being kept under wraps makes you wonder, are the powers that be afraid of the knowledge, or are they afraid of the warning? The secrets of Easter Island may have finally been revealed, but they leave us with more questions than answers. If an ancient warning can be so easily hidden, what other truths have been kept from us? Like and subscribe to join us as we continue to uncover the mysteries of our past.